Hi everyone, this is Mac. This is a grief journal part 3, the grief vlog part 3. For those of you dropping in that haven't followed the grief vlog before, I have two people in my inner circle who are both actively dying of cancer and in hospice care right now. And one of them lives with my wife and I, and we are the main caretakers for. We are the caretakers for. And the other one is a very close friend who's only in his 40s, and I've done a lot of activist work with him and formed a nonprofit with him. And he's my buddy. And yeah, it's tough. So one of the reasons I'm doing this grief journal is to, talk openly about grief as a masculine person, because traditionally masculine people don't deal with grief very well as well. And so I want to try to openly talk about this and show that masculine people feel things too when we're going through this, and encourage other masculine people dealing with grief to talk about it. Because it's really, really hard to watch people that you love actively dying and losing parts of themselves, and to see the changes, to see the shifts in who you've known them to be for a long time, as life begins to fade. And that's really a difficult thing to go through for anyone. And then there are all the dynamics around other people's emotions that you have to deal with around it, and the person who's dying, their emotions, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So for seeing my friend this week that is going through this cancer journey, this week was better than when I saw him last week, because he started on steroids, so he had a little more energy and he was a little more himself, in the way of being able to be silly a bit and joke around, because the pain meds and the steroids were helping him be able to do that. So we watched the election results on election night together, and were able to be witty and funny and joke around about things, which was really awesome, like we normally do, which is really awesome. Although he has throat cancer, so his speech has changed drastically, and yeah. But I feel good that we had that time together, because normally we zing jokes and are very witty, and with his caretaker Andrew and best friend and I, the three of us are always cutting up and being smartasses, and we were able to do that, which was really awesome. And then at my house with Alina, caring for our chosen family member who lives with us and we care for, we had some really big, tough shifts this week. it's been coming on for about a month or so. Her mobility has started to shift, and then it got really bad this week. So she had a couple of times where she couldn't get up without help, couldn't stand up on her own, and so we've had to do a lot of shifting around our house to try to make things more accessible for her so that she can, try to keep some of her independence as long as she can. And so we've had to do things like, put a potty chair over the toilet so she has handles and the chair is higher so she can get up and down easier. Get a shower chair because she's having a lot of trouble stepping over the bathtub to get in the shower now. And then the big one is we got a hospital bed delivered, and it is front and center in our living room now. So that's a big shift, and that's anybody who knows that has walked somebody through this with a terminal disease knows that that's a huge step in the journey when you get the hospital bed and you put it in the middle of your living room, or the middle of a room in your house that people can get to and have access to, because that's a big step. That's a new step in the road, and it's a hard one, and it's emotional for everybody involved. She noticed and has had a couple of moments of a lot of emotion, and the fact that she's declining quicker than she thought she would or wants to, and that's hard to deal with. And it's a big step for us as well. It changes a lot in our house. It changes a lot, and I also had to make a lot of phone calls today to tell people, or this week, to tell people that, she was hoping to make a road trip to see people, and I had to call people and say, I don't think we're going to be doing a road trip. If you want to see her, you better come soon to see her, because things are starting to move more quickly. Which happens as the disease, there's nothing slowing the cancer down now. It's on a fast track. And so it's making, when I talked about actively dying, it's making changes in the person that constantly. And when you live with the person and are their main caretaker, you see every little nuance of a change. And that's hard. And I'm exhausted, because also now I'm worried that with her mobility shifting like this, that she's okay if she gets, we've tried to make it where she can get up out of this hospital bed because you can raise and lower it, and and we've tried to arrange things where she can still go to the bathroom on her own at night. But I'm not sleeping well, because if I hear her stir at all, I'm like a parent with a new baby in the home or something, because I'm then hyper vigilant and listening for if she needs me and if she's okay. And so trying to take care of yourself and take care of other people, and then it's not an easy balance. That's I'm exhausted. So that's and the grief is hard, because having the hospital bed delivered also was very triggering for us, and especially my wife, because we lost her sister as well this year at the end of April, who was only in her early 40s, to cancer, to leukemia. And we had a bed delivered like this, and it was in the living room and not at our house, at her apartment close by, and and that's where she passed away 4 days later. So it was very triggering for my wife to see the bed delivered, even though we knew it was needed, and we were encouraging that so that she would, it'd be more comfortable for her. It was still hard emotionally to deal with. So be gentle with yourselves and be gentle with each other. It's hard to deal with seeing these changes when you love people, and now our whole life shifts too, like in the house, not sure how we're going to, it shifts everything when people try to come visit, and now, the centerpiece in the living room is a hospital bed. We try to make jokes of it and tell her that, make light of it for her, like she can hold court in the living room. We do our best to try to, keep it positive. And yet it's tough. And, we're very grateful that we have such a wonderful, supportive community. And I hope if you're dealing with grief or ever do, that you have that as well. Because just like tonight, a friend just came over and, made us this beautiful homemade meal so that I don't have to cook tonight. And I'm the one doing all the physical stuff, and my wife has a bum knee and is having knee surgery next week on top of everything in the middle of this. And so I'm doing all the physical stuff, really. And so sometimes it's just really nice to have, a lot of times it's nice if somebody can just take something off your plate like that, and I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, thank you, Alice. She brought this beautiful meal to us and made us these very nice mandalas, so that we, to give us some good energy through this time. So we're just blessed that we have such a wonderful community, but exhausted. And yeah, grief is not easy. It's not an easy journey, and yet it's a journey of love and compassion. And you can have love and compassion, for the person who's dying. But don't forget to have love and compassion for yourself at the same time, as a caretaker, as a loved one grieving that they're dying. Yeah, hang in there. And until the next time, yeah, spread love.